Hi, everybody. Welcome back to That's Debatable. Today, we have a story time. And in this story time, you're going to learn that if there's one thing about me, it's I never forget. And if there's another thing that you're going to learn about me, is that I always get my lick back. Always. So here we go. So I feel like in my life, one thing I have been really blessed with is events. And when I say events, I don't mean like going out to events. I mean stuff that has happened in my life is just so out of the norm that I feel like I was meant to do what I do because I know that sometimes a lot of y'all will be like, oh my God, there's no way that all this stuff happens to her. And it's like, yeah, this stuff happens to me and I don't know why. And now I know I do it because it happens to me so that I can share it with the world and that the world can look at me and be like, God, girl, we are so sorry. But it's okay because we always get our lick back. We always get our lick back. And this was one of the very first early experiences of that. And now I had to wait maybe like 8 years for my lick back, but I got it though. I got it and I've lived to tell the tale. And now here I am going to tell you guys. And this goes all the way back. All the way back. I'm not talking about like college. I'm not talking about high school. I'm not talking about middle school. I'm talking about elementary school. I'm talking about that deep core stuff that just hits you where it really hurts. And it's like, oof, changes your DNA, changes who you are. And honestly, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this experience. I'm grateful for this story because I now know what it feels like to just hold on to something until the very right moment. And when I was a little girl, I was never really allowed to go out. That's why I literally was, you know how we have like our form of iPad kids? I was an at-home desktop computer kid. And I just lived on the internet. I lived on the internet. Everything that I knew everything on everything. I knew YouTube. I loved Stardalt, loved Club Penguin. I was an internet kid. And I had a group of friends. And I think that's also just goes into the fact that my parents were Latino. My mother was an immigrant here. Like she was super protective of me, as she should be. And Latino parents, one thing they're not allowed to do is go hang out, especially when you're like 9, 10 years old. What business do you have going out into the street at 9:30 p.m. to go chill at a friend's house? Like you're 9 years old, go to bed. And I was never really allowed to go out. So anytime that I would be allowed to go out, I was really excited about it. And I always knew that this is a privilege. This is not something that is just guaranteed. So I always wanted to make the most out of it. Unfortunately, at that moment in my life, you always go through this. I feel like little girls, little boys, everybody goes through finding good and bad friends and wanting the feeling of being accepted and the feeling of people liking you, quite frankly, especially when you're growing up in school system. Like you want to have friends, you want to be liked by your peers, you want to be like quote unquote popular. I feel like everybody, I mean, or maybe not everybody. I'll speak for myself. I know in that moment when I was so young, I was so envious of my friends because they were able to go out and they were able to, do these things that I wasn't allowed to do. And I didn't understand why. And I had this group of friends who to this day, I don't bangs with at all. I don't like them. They are the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. And I don't want people to think like, oh my God, you're holding on to stuff from elementary school, because I grew up with these people. So even when in our big grown age now, it's like, oh, you're still that same person. And that's so sad for you. That's your business. That's what you want to do. I don't have to interfere with that. But at one point, because of the fact that you have your friends that you have, you kind of put up with a lot, especially when you're younger. And I put up with a lot. I put up with people not understanding my home life, people not understanding that my mom is an immigrant, that my family is from Colombia, that we do things differently, even down to Christmas, we do differently. Like those are things that never registered in my head. But until I went to school and somebody pointed it out that, wait, why doesn't your mom speak English like the rest of them? I'm like, because my mom is smarter than all your parents. She speaks 2 languages. So let's not do all that. But we're not going to get into that back. That's a different story for a different time. And there was this one specific day that it was like the only time that I was ever allowed to go and sleep over, which that was a very big thing, was either when it was my cousins or it was somebody's birthday within the immediate group that my mom knew their moms of. And there was this one girl's birthday and I don't even know what happened, but I got invited and I was super excited. And I was like, oh my God, like this is going to happen, whatever. This is amazing. So I wasn't allowed to go to sleepovers. It was just wasn't a thing. You either sleep over at my house, I sleep over at my cousin's house. Every blue moon, I was allowed to go to birthday sleepovers, and we went to one birthday sleepover, and this was like the beginning of like I felt a difference between like me and the rest of the girls, because at that point everybody was trying to get a boyfriend, everybody's trying to get their first kiss, everyone's trying to get, I don't even know what they're trying to do, hold a hand or two, but I was much more interested in getting a Stardoll membership. I'm keeping it 100. I was much more interested in getting a Club Penguin membership. I had bigger things on my mind than getting a Mans's. Also, at that point, the baby weight had fallen off and the adult weight had gained on. And I was kind of a big kid, I'm not gonna lie. I have been the same weight since I was like 11. So consistently, like the weight that I am now, I was at 11 years old. At that point, I wasn't the height that I was now. So I was maybe like 5 feet tall or something, maybe. So, that can paint your own picture for itself. So I didn't really realize that though. I didn't really care. I mean, obviously that's what you get when you sit behind a computer screen for like 18 hours out of the day, eating chips, Doritos, like everything that is being put in front of you. That's what just happens. It's normal. And also you're a kid, you're going through puberty, your body changes. And I didn't realize that I was getting bigger until this sleepover. We were sitting down. And this is why I say that these girls are like bio-human beings. Because all these girls we're like 10. So I'm not even going to be like gorge. Like we're all pretty hurt in the face. I'm not going to lie. We're all pretty hurt in the face. Like ain't nobody that cute. So I don't know why I was getting like pointed out. And one thing that they would do at these sleepovers would be like, let's sit down and make a list of all of the ugly traits of every single one of us. And down to our weight, down to our teeth, down to our everything. Let's write down how boys will see us. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't know how a boy will see me. I don't know. I don't hang around boys. I hang around my cousins that are boys, but like, I think they see me as Emely. So they're like, no. Let's write down, if a boy were to look at you right, like immediately, what would he think? Let's write that down and then we'll all share it. And maybe because I was just, I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I was like, okay, I guess. So I'm writing stuff down and I'm honestly having a hard time because, again, like I said, we're all hurt in the face. So if they're all going to look at us as a unit, I'm telling you, our grade point average is not high. It's not high. And it has nothing to do with your own individual characteristics. It just has to do with the fact that you're going through puberty. And also we are hurt. We have braces and some of us don't even have our braces yet. So like we are not trust and believe, babe, we are not shutting down the club and we're 10 years old. So I'm sitting there and I have literally nothing on my paper and I'm writing down, I was like, okay. And I was giving like compliments. Like I was like, okay, well, let's say Brittany's hair, your hair is just so thick. So when guys see your hair, it's going to be like, oh my God, she has so much hair. That's not a negative thing. Like that's a good thing. But I was just like, that's the only thing I can think of because it is what it is. I did not know that these girls had the list ready to go. And not only did they have the list ready to go, because everybody gave kind of the same type of, I don't want to say complaint, but negative trait that I was giving. Like, oh, your hair is so thick. Or like, oh, like, you're short right now, but you're going to get tall. The other day, you wore purple leggings instead of yellow leggings. Those were the compliments that they were giving each other. And then it was time for Emely to go. I was not getting the same compliments. I was not getting the same little, like, your hair is just so long. I was getting, you're fat, your teeth are gross, you need to get braces, your glasses are ugly, you don't know how to do your hair looks frizzy, you look like a hot mess, like this and this and this. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, tell me how you really feel. Like, oh my, and I was looking around and I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, you just have to like go back to soccer because you've gained a lot of weight. And I was like, okay, I'm 10 years old, but that's fine. But I thought we were telling each other that our leggings looked a little wonky the other day. And I realized that we're telling each other that my freaking face looked like it was lopsided on a 3rd-degree angle. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? So I was like, this is what a sleepover is? No wonder my mother did not let me come to these. So I was like, oh my God, okay, whatever, cool, great. So then, and as I'm doing that, I'm eating the chips. I'm eating the chips as they're telling me this because I'm invested. And I'm like, what? Is this what they really think about me? And I had this one kid that I had a really big crush on, but I was, again, a very, like, I wasn't a shy person, but I wasn't somebody that was going to put myself out there like that. And his name was Johan. And I had this crush. And when, again, something about me is I am a very determined little girl. If I want something, I'm going to get something. I don't care how long it takes me. I had a crush on this kid named Johan for like 8 years. 8 years of my life. I met him. The love story started in first grade. And at this point, we were maybe like 6th, 7th grade. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is the year. Da, da, da. So now I'm fully invested of like, oh my God, what is Johan going to think? Is this what he thinks of me? Like, he thinks that, like, you know, my face is lopsided and whatever. Like, holy crap, maybe I do need braces. I did need braces, 110% need braces. But so did half the in that room. And they did end up getting braces. But I didn't say that to them. You want to know why? Because that's mean. And I didn't want to be mean. And they were like, yeah, you don't really know how to dress. Like, your clothes are kind of ugly. And I was like, we shop at the same place, babes. We all shop at Justice at Garden State Plaza. So let's not get it too twisted here. We're all getting dressed by our mothers. So if anything, insult your mothers. So I was like, okay, I guess this is what Johan's thinking of me, and I'm eating the chips. And they're like, you see what I mean? Like, you're always eating. Like, why are you eating the chips right now? Somebody takes the chips. He's like, because if Johan sees you eating chips, he's going to think you're gross. And I was like, okay, so if Johan thinks that I'm nourishing my body, he's going to think that I'm a nasty, ugly bitch. Heard you. On 1,000, I heard you, girl. Good, great. So that's how that sleepover ended. And I was like, okay, so I went home and I was like trying to think of it like positively. I was like, that's constructive criticism. These are my friends. They're trying to look out for me. They want the best for me. And that's why they were saying it. So I told them, I was like, you know what? I feel like we made a really good step in the right direction. And this is so funny and innocent of me to think this, because this is literally how people build friends. But again, these are my first experience of like having friends and going out and doing all these other things. So I was like, you know what? They want the best for me. It's not that they were saying it to be mean. They were saying it because they genuinely want me to win. They didn't want me to win whatsoever. That is not how your friend should be treating you at all. I know that now. But because of that, I then asked my mom, I'm like, hey, do you think it would be okay to have the girls come? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like jumping the gun here because I just thought. I was like, do you think it would be okay to have my friends come and sleep over? And she's like, yeah, of course. Like, I can talk to their moms. Like, we can like set up pizza. Like, we'll order like all this stuff. And I was like, no, mom, they don't eat. And she was like, what? And I was like, no, mom, no. The food, ex-nay on the food. We're not doing food. Maybe like, let's get some ice cubes, make a cute little ice cube board. We're not doing food. And she's like, Emely, what are you talking about? And I was like, we're not going to do food. We're not going to do food because it's a long story, mom. It's like kind of a girl thing. It's just like a thing between us girls. Like, these are my best friends. Like, they're looking out for me. And she's like, okay. Orders pizza, does a thing. Furious with her. Gets Coca-Cola because I love junk food. I love junk food. So she got like all my favorite things. And like candy. And like the girls walk in and obviously they're munching down on this food. They're going crazy at the food. And I'm like, okay, cool. And at that point, I was like, okay, since we're doing a sleepover at my house, I can kind of set the vibe. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to, chit chat, talk about school, talk about our favorite games, maybe talk about Stardoll, maybe throw a pillow or two in there. Like, I don't know. I wanted to just maybe do a couple face masks, have it be real cute and nice. That is not what this sleepover was, because my friend at that point got a laptop. And ooh, girl. She got a laptop and she brought the laptop over. And I had my laptop. And I was like, oh my God, like, I have a computer too. Like, this is so exciting. Like, I didn't know you guys were into computers. Like, what do you guys play? And she was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, what do you guys play? Like, do you guys do Club Penguin? Are you guys on Stardoll? Like, are y'all the Webkins? I never played Webkins. I was like, but are y'all like Webkins girls? Like, what's your vibe? She goes, no, we're doing Uvu. And I was like, oh, I haven't heard of that. I said, okay, slay. I was like, show me, what do we do? Do we dress somebody up? Like, are we cooking? What's happening? She goes, no, it's a video call. Like, we're going on a video call. And I was like, who are we calling? I was like, what, we're doing Omegle? I was like, okay, slay. I love Omegle. We'll do that. She goes, no, we're going to call some guy that I'm talking to, that he's so cute. And we all think he's so cute. We're going to talk to him. And like, we're just going to talk to him. I was like, you brought this blasphemy into my house? I said, do you understand that my father lives here? Do you think that I can talk to a man in my house? I was like, oh my God. I started getting really nervous. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want my parents to come up and be like, are you guys talking to a boy? And I'm like, no, it's Stardoll. We're just creating one. So we get up there and they start calling this guy. And it's so weird because Jersey Shore was huge at this point. So everybody wanted to be like a character and thing. So my friend brought over all these like dresses that like she got from her mom that was from when she was like in her 20s. I don't even know. And they were like skimpy Jersey Shore dresses. And she's like, let's put these dresses on and like talk to them and like, let's see what they say. Like, let's have them rate us. And I was like, okay, so we're not throwing pillows. I had them fluffed. I just wanted to make sure we're not going to do a face mask because I had everything set up. That's the type of vibe I was on. Okay, I guess. Cool. And they were like, Emely, we're going to give you a makeover. And I was like, a makeover? I was like, yo, I am not this hurt. Like, at a point in my head, I was like, if we're going to be doing makeovers, then y'all should be getting them too. But I'm just not, again, I'm not going to say anything. And we go, whatever, they call the guy, and the guy obviously is 10 years old. He has the Justin Bieber swoop, and they're fangirling. And I'm sitting in the back on my laptop, like talking to like my Stardoll Club Penguin friends. And I'm like, dude, this shit is weird. I was like, I don't know what's happening. This is a little much for me. And they get to the point where they're like, let's start rating them. And they're like, wait, rate each one of us, like 1 to 10. Like, what do you think of us? Like, do you think we're pretty? Like, da da da. So they're going each one again. Like, the guys is like, yeah, you know, Brianna's starting to grow boobs. He's like, Brianna, you're beautiful. Like, you know, you're really becoming a woman. Ugh. Like, you're 10 years old, babe. Like, you're 10. You're 10. This is so weird. It even feels weird as a 24-year-old to be talking about it because I'm talking about children. But like, I was a child at that point. So I was like, he talking about her rack. Like, oh, what the I was like, okay, this is so weird. And lower the volume because I don't want my parents to hear this. I'm going to get in trouble. And he goes down the line. Maybe there's like 4 or 5 girls, right? And finally gets to be my turn. And I'm through the moon. I'm like, okay, like I tried to make a couple of like not career development. I got a job. No, I'm kidding. I tried to do like a little bit of character development. So, you know, I took my glasses off. I couldn't see shit. I've been wearing glasses since I was in 3rd grade. So I could not see this man whatsoever. And I'm like trying to, you know, like fluff up my hair. At this point, I have super curly hair. And one thing, when you're a little girl and you have curly hair, they don't really teach you how to do your hair. I feel like now curly hair is like a big thing and they have so much like information on it. But back in the day, like there wasn't really anything. You used the same products that everybody else uses. And it just wasn't good for my hair. And, you know, so I'm in there and the guy looks at me and I guess he's also doing his little boy sleepover. And he's with like 2 other guys. Gets to be my turn. And then they look at me, silence, and they just start laughing. And I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't realize I said something funny, but that's fine. And I was just like, then I start kind of laughing awkwardly, and the girls my friends, start laughing as well. And I was like, wait, what? And they're like, dude, you look like Shrek. And I was like, you mean Fiona before she turned into the ogre, or Shrek? I was like, because in that case, we got a problem, because you're telling me I live in a swamp right now. That's what you're telling me to my god face. Instantly put my glasses back on. I said, what did you say? He goes, yeah, you look like Shrek. I said, that's so crazy because I'm not green. So I don't know how I would look like Shrek. And I don't have 2 little booty holes poking out of my forehead. So I don't understand how the hell you think I look like Shrek. And then they're laughing. And my friends, obviously, because, you know, they're girls and they want the attention from the guys. They're like, ha, ha, ha. Oh, my God, she does look like Shrek. And I said, so none of us have watched the movie. Not one person here has watched the god movie. Because how in the do I look like Shrek? I was like, oh my God. I was taken aback. I was fully taken aback. And I think this is when I started building a personality. Because I was like, all right, enough is enough. Like, you can't tell me that my face looks like I got hit by a monster truck and then tell me I look like Shrek all within the same week. That's too much for anybody. And I was like, he's laughing. And the guy's like, nah, she's ugly. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, who raised you? Like a literal 30-year-old woman. I was like, and who raised you? You have no manners. I was like, you're rude. You're in my house. He goes, I'm in a computer. And I was like, I don't care. This is still my house that you're using my Wi-Fi for to be on this computer. I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to talk to them anymore. And then the girls were like, Emily, stop being mean. I was like, I'm not going to stop being mean. I'm not going to stop being mean. He just called me Shrek. First of all, it's an insult that you haven't even watched the movie. That's disrespectful as great movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Second of all, I don't look like him. I was like, that's crazy. And then they just kept going and they were like, oh my God. And they're like, oh, who invited her? Like, yo, she's so weird. Like, yo, calm down. Because everybody starts cursing at this point, right? So everybody thinks they're big and bad. What they didn't learn is I grew up in a Latino household. So I know how to curse. I've heard it and I know how to curse in Spanish too. Hijo de puta de mierda. If you want it in both languages, I'll do you. It's fine. And I was like, oh, you want to call me a I was like, hey, nobody like you. I said, I don't even understand why you're over here entertaining this. Aren't you guys like, what are you guys doing? You guys having a boy sleepover? You guys are weirdo. Da-da-da. The worst insults back. Worst comebacks back. And one of my friends is like, Emily, stop. Like, you always do this. You always take it too far. And I was like, I didn't take it anywhere where I didn't take it anywhere where it did not need to be taken. I took it exactly where it had to go because we were driving this boat and we were going in the opposite direction. I'm parked. I'm parked and I'm ready to go. And I'm on time too. And she's like, one of my other friends was like, who even invited her? And the guy's like, yeah, who did invite her? And I was like, I invited you. It's my house. I was like, this is my domain. I invited you and you all came out. And mind you, you all ate the food too. So I don't know why we're sitting here acting like we don't eat. Y'all ate food. I saw y'all scarfing down 4 pieces of pizza. I saw it. I don't care. You did it. So did I. And I had 6. And I'm proud of it. I can eat. I'm a good eater. Thank you very much. And the girl's like, yeah, she's being so annoying. Like, oh my God, Emily, like you always make us look bad. And I was like, I was like, I don't think I need to do a lot to make us look bad, guys. I think we all look bad. This looks weird. You're weird. And the guy was like, just talking and him and his like friends are like, oh, she's like the weirdo. Like, you guys got like an ugly friend. Like, that's your ugly friend. And I was like, all right, I'm 10 years old and I'm ugly. That's fine. That's cool. We're all ugly, but I guess I'm the only one that sees it. Second of all, we're all going through puberty. Third of all, you haven't watched Shrek, so that's you. Fourth of all, I know what this pain feels like. And I was hurt. And one thing I'm going to do with that pain, because I looked at that man's face, I said, what's your name? And let's say his name is like Thomas Evergreen. And I said, boom, implanted in my head for the rest of my life. And you will rue this day. This day right now, you will through it. And I don't know why. I don't know when. But I'm going to remember this day right here. And actually, what's so funny too is that same girl that was like, who even invited Emily? And I was like, who invited Emily to her own house? Let's make that math up. Listen, I may not be pretty in the face, but at least I'm smart. I can say that. Clearly, babes, you don't have nothing going for you. I'm going back into like my little girl age. I'm literally like going back into it. And this girl, and I kicked them out. And I was like, it's done. I was like, I don't want y'all to stay here. And they're like, what? We can't go home. We told our moms I'm going to sleep over. I said, I don't care what you told your moms. And tell your moms you're going to go sleep over somewhere else or go sleep outside. You're not sleeping in my crib. It's not happening to you. You're getting the hell out. One girl ended up having to use the bathroom. She clogged my bathroom. She clogged my goddamn bathroom. I had a little swimming pool in my goddamn bathroom. For real. And my mom was like, Emily, did you use the thing? I said no, because this pendeja de mierda who doesn't eat and said that I eat too much had 4 pieces of pizza, not knowing her was lactose intolerant and clogged up my freaking bathroom. So now we got a swimming pool full of poo-poo and pee-pee. And maybe, you know what? I am Shrek. Maybe I do live in a swamp. But you know who created it? You. I'm sorry, y'all. I just get it so into it because this is like such a pivotal moment in my life. And I kicked them out, told them to leave. They left. Cool, great, amazing. Love that. Years pass. And one thing, when I made this video on TikTok, and one thing I said in the beginning, I said, if you were the ugly kid when you were as a young kid, if you were the ugly kid, you know you have to have thick skin. But one thing that they don't tell you is that ugly don't stay ugly forever. And guess what? It blew up, it glue up. I blew up and I glue up. So it is what it is. And I was like, okay, period. I all of a sudden, you know, I'm a little cute. I got my braces off. I put my contacts in. I figured out how to do my hair. And I didn't decide. Through trials and tribulations of my life, I developed a very, a very clever mouth. And if there was one thing that you were going to say about me, you had to be prepared to hear 10 more things about you. So that's where I was now. Because I was like, you know what? I went through the torment. I tried to be the nice little girl. I tried to do all of that. It's cool. That's great. I'm angry now. And now I'm getting, and this is around my YouTube era where now people are starting to take things from me. And I'm like, ooh, so y'all really wanted to try me like this. And that's fine. That's cool. That's great. Couple years pass. Let's say, what? I was like 10, maybe when I was like 15, 16. Around there, 14, in that vicinity, years. This wasn't like a couple months later. This is years later. I see that same kid, Thomas or whatever. Also, mind you, if you guys are wondering what Johan won, never got with him. He never liked me. He made it very clear he didn't like me. He was also one of those people that would call me fat. So he was a part of that committee. But my other friend that clogged my bathroom actually came to my house because she was dating him on that one point and started making out with him on my front step. And she told me to come outside. And I was like, oh my God, my friends are here to see me. I went outside and I was like, what the f*** is this? And I was like, oh my God, you guys are fornicating on my front step. Like, what is happening here? And I was like, Johan, how could you? He goes, what? And I was like, whoa, you lived in my head. This is a very different experience that we're having right now. So with that, I had a lot of ammunition on me. And I remember I saw him. I don't even know where I saw him. I saw this kid and he comes up to me. And again, because I grew up with the same people, so everybody knows everybody. He's like, oh, Emely, like, oh my God, like, it's been so long. Like, I can't believe I'm seeing you. And I can read bodies so well. And I was like looking at him and instantly, like, the hater in me started smiling so big. And I was like, oh, here we go. I know who you are. I know exactly who you are. And you're being very nice. You're being very nice to me. That means you think I'm cute. And I know where this is going to go. So here we go. And he's like, yeah, it's been so long. How you been? I was like, oh, I've been really good. Like, you know, just chilling. I'm not friends with those people that I'm friends with anymore. But they were also at that party. And I was like, you know, it's just like, I've just been chilling. Like, it's just living my life. And he's like, you look so different. And I was like, I don't think I look different at all. I think I just grew up. That's crazy. People grow up. And he was like, ha ha, laughing. And he was like, no, like, you're so cute. Like I'm, you know, he's trying to rizz me up basically. And I'm not giving what he said justice, but this is essentially what he said. He's like, you're just so cute. Like, I didn't know that, like, you didn't look like that when you were younger. Like, if I would have known you were going to look like this, da-da-da-da. Like, we should go out sometime. I said, where should we go? The swamp? And he's like, what? And I said, where you want to go? The swamp? Have you watched Shrek yet or no? Or are you still a letdown? What's happening? I was like, you don't think I forgot what you said to me? And he was like, what? What are you talking about? And I was like, you said I look like Shrek, babes, Mr. Lord Farquaad, on your ass while I look down at you. I was like, because I am taller than him at this point. So I was like, he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I did not forget what you said to me. I was like, you think that it's so cute and it's so funny to look at a little girl and call her ugly and call her Shrek and laugh at her and have everybody else laugh at her and like, I'm not going to forget it. I was like, I didn't forget your face. I know who you are. And you want to take me out now, right? I was like, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. I was like, because we've all grown up. Not you, because you pretty much stay the same height as I'm looking down at him. And I was like, so, and I'm not here to come out my short kings. We love my short kings. We love our short kings. This one is not a king. He is not a king. And he was like, oh, what? So what, you're a now? And I was like, there it is. I said, there it is, babes. I said, no, I'm not a bitch. I'm that bitch, but I'm not a bitch. And I was like, but I can be 110%, but you were when you were 10 years old. So that's crazy. You still haven't grown out of it. No, I don't want to go on a date with you. Honestly, I'm not even attracted to you. I'd rather go out on a swamp, swim with Shrek. I'd rather kiss Shrek dead in his dome than before even entertaining a conversation with you. And he was like, yo, it's called letting go of things. And I was like, yeah, I know what it's called. I don't do it though. Congratulations. Thank you so much for telling me what letting go is. But you know how good this moment in this moment in time feels right now? It feels so beautiful and it feels so glorious that I can look at you in your face and get my lick back. That's what I want. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you walking into my life and making me feel the way that you made me feel, because this moment, in this moment right now, the way that you're making me feel, oof, I can't even imagine. And I don't give a how you feel right now. Why? Because I don't. Haha. And then he was like, she's a bitch. was like, nah, you just got rejected, babes. I said, I'm so glad I can give you that experience because you gave me this one. Now let me give you another one. And then the girl was like, I heard them like talk about me. And at that point, because I was like an unruly, I was not malicious, but I was a menace to society when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I heard that girl talking about me. She's like, she's that fucking. And I was like, and you better not talk because you clogged my toilet. You not know how to take a poo-poo and a pee-pee in front of everybody. And she was like, what? And I was like, you clogged my toilet. You clogged my toilet. I said, you left my toilet looking crazy because you don't know how to use a bathroom, apparently. So I was like, guys, be careful. Don't let her use the bathroom. Don't let her use it because she might flood it. We might have the town pool in this house right now. And they're like, hey, you're doing too much. And at that point, I have the friends that I have now. And they were like, where did that come from? And I was like, oh, girl, that came from years of sitting on something and watering it and watching it grow and taking care of it. And that feels amazing. And I was like, and in that moment, I'm not saying to let go, hold grudges for people, because that's not necessary either. But there are those little moments in my life where I'm like, I'm not going to say anything right now, maybe because I don't have the vernacular, the vocabulary to say something. But once I do, I know the universe will bless me with an opportunity to then say the things that little Emily couldn't say. And that was one of those moments where I was like, because when I called him Lord Farquaad, the party went crazy. And I was like, oh, shit. I know everybody watched Shrek in here. And I said, from that day, I went from Shrek I went to the dragon. That's it. It was a very different experience for me. And from that moment forward, people were just like, oh God, don't get into don't get in her way because she will just fully like go over. Again, I was a menace to society. I'm not that person anymore. Because now I know how to deal with things. But being a little girl and like having no one to protect you and you not having that vernacular, not even vernacular, just like the terminology to defend yourself, not even understanding what defending yourself means is like such a crazy thing that now to this day, I mean, I don't really hold grudges for people. I wish everyone the best. I mean, I guess like I like I don't care. I'm like, whatever. Everybody does what their own dues. Like at that point, I was a hurt person, and that term like hurt people, it's very true. Like that is very true. I was very hurt from things that happened previously in my years that I felt the need that I had to do that. Now, before anybody's like, oh, she's grown, do I regret it? Absolutely not. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Like there's only so much growing a person can do. And I definitely I left that party and I left that party with a little chip on my shoulder. I'm not going to lie. I was like, okay, ate all of you up. Those girls still don't talk. Actually, no, yeah, they don't talk to me. Why am I pretending like they do? But that was a whole different story. They just did some like slime shit. But yeah, no, that was definitely that's why I was so excited to share it on TikTok, because I just obviously shared it so differently. But I was like, that was the very first time I felt justice was served. Justice was served, babes. Justice was served. And with my words. Now, what Beyonce says, your best revenge is your paper. You move silently and you continue on. That's the best way to do it, is when you move silently, let people say whatever they want to say. You just keep moving, worry about your bag. That's the era I'm in now. I don't want people to think that I'm still in that era of like, if you say something to me now, 30 years down the line, I'm going to look at you and call you Shrek. Like that's not going to happen. But yeah, no, that was definitely like, the whole experience is just funny. It's like little kids fighting. They are just growing up not knowing what the hell the world had to offer, and this is how we went about the world. And I'm grateful for those experiences, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have learned how to defend myself. A little bit too much though. I had to reel it in. Now I'm learning how to you don't have to defend yourself in every situation. Sometimes you just got to let things ride. Not everything needs a point in case. But yeah, that was the time that I got my lick back. But also, don't get it twisted though. Don't think that you're going to come up to me and say some crazy I'm not going to say something back. Like, I know I'm on my spiritual journey and everything, but like, chill out. Because people do try that all the time. They think that they see the stories and that they're like, we're going to just say whatever. No, don't do it. Don't do it, babe. Don't catch me on a bad day. But you know what? We've had a lot more good days than bad. So, and that's what matters. And that's all that matters. Progress, growth, and maturity. And Shrek. Most importantly, Shrek. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. And I think that's the end of the episode. All right, guys. See you guys next week. Bye. Go watch Shrek.